parliamentary proceedings. Now, I would firstly like to welcome the media houses for attending. Your presence is highly appreciated. The Landless People's Movement would like to indicate our dissatisfaction when it comes to the parliamentary proceedings that have been currently happening. Why we say so is that the Parliament Speaker we have been informed that the Parliament Speaker has been on some form of vacation in the coast and has not been responding to our letters, numerous letters that we have been writing, because previously, before the second lockdown that started, we realized that there's so much on the Parliament agenda that had to be consulted on. And we were given permits. These permits allowed us to be able to be mobile from one place to another. And when that happened, we tried sending various emails to the Honorable Speaker. He refused and declined to come back to us now. We are also told that there is a notice that was given to us about last week that the postponement of the appropriation 2020 to 2021 bill that was supposed to be tabled by the Minister of Finance has been postponed. Now, LPM is of the idea that the Minister is not ready. Therefore, we are also questioning the secrecy in regards to this bill. Now, we have also indicated that there has not been any preliminary budgets that have been given to the House so that we can see on how these allocations and the amounts of money, in which terms of the money would be allocated for specific sectors. That has not been done and consulted to us. We also have a strong condemnation in regards to there's no linkages between the legislative and the executive. What we mean by that is that constantly we have been trying to send numerous letters to the Ministry of Finance in regards to the tabling of the budget in terms of the stimulus package that was written. Nothing has been given back to us. We have given proposals, we have sent letters. Until today, nothing has been done. We therefore ask that the Parliament Speaker should therefore have an urgent meeting with the President and the opposition leaders to talk about agendas and to express ideas and to look into policies that will help the country move forward in this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we are of the idea and the perception that the Honourable Speaker is biased. He is not willing to speak to everyone on a fair basis. There is no democracy. There is no mutual understanding between opposition leaders, the Landless People's Movement, and the Parliament Speaker. He seems to just be speaking to the executive and the various SWAPO members. Now, we also would want to indicate that the current proceedings and also with the Parliament proceedings in terms of the parliamentary staff, we have identified that before the lockdown, there were staff members that were still working in the Parliament. And now, only now till today, that they are using specific regulatory measures in terms of testing, in terms of seeing if someone is fit being done at Parliament. We highly should continue in this time and phase that we are in, difficulty that we are in. All leaders should be present at this time. We should be visible in Parliament. Therefore, we as Landless People's Movement, we have been advocating for the postponement, not for the postponement, but for the commencement of Parliament before the second lockdown, because we are in a crisis, and therefore every individual, in fact, we can even look into the cases of South Africa, where Namibia seems to like copying all the policies that they like doing. We look into South Africa with the President of South Africa. He has been constantly engaging civil society, engaging the Parliament, engaging various entities such as the the civil society movement, churches, individuals have been active in terms of curbing the COVID-19. Now, within Namibia, there seems to be a dictatorship, one that is not democratic. Even if we look into the platforms, the media platforms, it is just specific people who are allowed to take part in certain events or to give and convey specific information. Now, we have also tried contacting various media outlets such as the MBC because we had released our COVID-19 document, but till today, no call or no appointment has been done in regards to voicing our opinion with the Beyond COVID-19. This is biased. This is not a democratic form. We as the Landless People's Movement would like to condemn media houses that are giving privilege to the executive in the SWAPO party. And now I would like to go into the second agenda that talks into what is LPM going to do when the commencement of the parliament starts. We're going to look into two acts. The first act is we will try to amend the Marine Resources Fishing Act, the Marine Resource Act of 2014. We will look into the amendments that were done by the former corrupt criminals, ministers that are currently in jail. We would look into the type of elitists that these policies create, this bourgeoisie system around the fishing quotas rights, the handing of the fishing quotas rights. We're going to look into that to allow that all Namibians be given the opportunity to participate within the process of getting the fishing quota rights. We're going to look into the amendments of making sure that the ministers and the executives and members of parliament who hold fishing quotas be expelled and their rights be terminated with effective, immediate proceedings. We also look into the nationalization of the quotas, this handing in of quotas, to avoid situations such as the fish rot case that exploited our resources. Factors of the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act has pointers that does not allow and give equal opportunity for the members of public to be able to participate within the elections. Now, last year there was a law that didn't allow government employees to participate. They had to their businesses that they have, if they have government-owned entities. That law and that policy we are going to terminate with immediate effect, because we are seeing that the current SWAPO government, the MPs are of not the merits, they are not of the experience that would transform the economy of Namibia. Rather, the person, the commoner in the street, is the one who's able to be an effective member of parliament. But because they have to let go of their job, and because they have financial responsibilities in banks' loans, many of them had to be removed off the list. That is the first thing we are going to do, to look into, is to amending the Electoral Act around that to give the opportunity for all majority. This is just a summary of some of the things and the concerns of the Landless People's Movement currently, as we are going to send and engage more with the Honorable Speaker and have meetings with him to look into various policies that we can help the President with, the Minister of Finance. And we ask that for a briefing from the Minister of Finance to brief the nation as to why he is taking so long to release the budget. We are almost in June. Quarter of the year has already passed. Until today, we are not seeing how the budgets are being allocated. It is very fishy. In fact, even though we are told that the Eurobond has to be paid by next year, till to date, we don't even know how this Eurobond will be paid. These are some of the Landless People's Movement's concerns, and now I open the floor for questions. Any questions? Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
No questions?
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Kevin. I report for Eagle FM. There is a concern right now in connection with the tabling of the national budget. We spoke with the spokesperson of Parliament, Mr. David Nahuhanja, who said that members of the public will be barred from this session because of COVID-19. Not all members of Parliament will be present there. You have to select who is supposed to be in there to talk about the budget. And there is a concern, why hasn't Parliament leveraged on technology, made use of Zoom, for instance, to have such kinds of engagements? What's your take about how Parliament has appreciated technology at a time when they are saying that students are supposed to be doing e-learning, yet we don't see it at Parliament level?
Thank you very much for that question. Firstly, Parliament did have meetings with the chief whips where this question came up, and we did come with a solution in regards to having a virtual parliament. This virtual parliament will have the 49 members plus one presiding officer be situated in Parliament, and the other people tune in, members of Parliament tune into the session via virtual technology, where we can talk into various and look into various telecommunication companies such as MTCs, such as Telecom, where we can be able to link the streaming, live streaming from their end offices to the Parliament. But those proceedings are currently having been consultation. But then these are the concerns that we have been bringing up, because the Honorable Speaker has not been consulting with the members of Parliament. So these issues that we have brought up, these solutions, could not even be tabled with the members of Parliament because there's no consultations being taken place for about a month now. So that is the current situation.
Thank you. My name is Edward. I just want to find out, because this thing of the current speaker, Peter Kachale,
Yes.
over the past 5 years, there's been complaints about his biasness in the National Assembly and how he gives preferential treatment to the ruling party.
Of course.
And this has now become sort of cliche. So I just want to find out, what will LPM do differently to at least hold the speaker accountable and to ensure that there's some sort of transparency and democracy in the National Assembly.
Thank you very much, Mumbu, for that question. In regards to the biasness of the speaker, we have spoken of and given information to the public in regards to our concern in regards to that. Now, these are the steps that Landless People's Movement is going to take. Firstly, we would be actively communicating with the public, because we feel that if the public knows what is happening in Parliament, he will be forced to act up. We're going to attack him in Parliament, because we're going to ask him, because now we have been sending him letters, we have been sending him emails, he's not responding. When Parliament commences, the first thing on our agenda is that we must attack Honorable Speaker of the Parliament with immediate effect, because this biasness has to end. And we'll also, if this proceedings doesn't happen, then we'll also have to take it to a disciplinary measures, because we can't have a biasness in Parliament, one that is now having the Landless People's Movement will not allow it. So we firstly talk to the Parliament, the public, expose him. If not, take disciplinary actions against him.
When you say attack, what do you mean?
We'll attack him. We'll ask him why. We'll constantly ask him as to why he's avoiding to be engaging with all the members of Parliament. We will ask him publicly in front of everyone, so the public can know the type of man that is in Parliament, the type of honorable that is the Speaker of Parliament. We will constantly ask him questions, robust questions, as to why he doesn't want to entertain all other members of Parliament.
I do have another question. I do apologize if there's somebody who was raising up his hand. Pretty much one of the fundamental principles that led to the formation of the Landless People's Movement, and also by the virtue of its name, is the land issue. We know that we had a land conference. We just want to find out, as per the resolutions that were put across at the land conference, how exactly are you going to deal with that in Parliament when you get in?
Well, we are of the knowledge that the Landless People's Movement did boycott that land conference. But prior to that, in 2016, we did have our land conference separately, where we came up with various policies, various resolutions. Now, those resolutions is what we'll be tabling and putting on the forefront together with our manifesto. That is what we will be putting in motion in Parliament. We will not look into the issue of the current land conference resolutions. We would not accept that biased conference, the policies that were made by that biased conference. We would rather table and speak about the one that we had in 2017, which I believe currently in the next month or two, in the next coming weeks, we will have a separate conference where we will be engaging with the media in regards to what resolutions did we come up with the 2017 land conference and what we're going to do in Parliament in regards to the land. And we are going to still stand firm that we are going to take our land back. We are going to expropriate the land regardless of COVID-19. That is still going to stand because we are here to restore the people's dignity, and land is the dignity of the people.
Okay, if you look into the LPM document beyond COVID-19, you speak of some redundant SOEs, parastatals that are not performing, and you also speak of, you highlight the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology. According to the LPM, this is actually a burden on the state fiscus. The ministry should just be a directorate. That's according to you. We just want you to perhaps qualify why you think so. And you also speak of sort of a housing scheme where you say, no, the NHE must not be involved in this housing scheme. Can you please just tell us, take us into it?
Thank you very much for that question. In regards to the NHE, we looked into the effectiveness of that program. There was a high level of corruption when it comes to that program. There was a high level of ineffectiveness when it comes to that program. And from that standing, that is why we came to the conclusion that the NHE is not a relevant body to take forth the mass housing project. And that's why in that we looked into a similar project as to that, but not one that is under the NHE because of the high levels of corruption and ineffectiveness of the entity. And when it comes to the ICT, right, the question of the ICT, we look into the history of the ICT. We're running into the fourth industrial revolution. One that needs high skills technology, one that brings up questions, class struggles, questions of how we're going to protect our class working people, especially the banking sector that is going to be highly affected by technology because people will be losing jobs as machines take over. The ICT has not looked into policies on how they're going to protect their workers, number one. The ICT has not come with effective programs and policies and proposals on how we can transform our country into a fast forward moving industrial revolution country, how we are able to catch up with the rest of the world in terms of technology. The ICT has failed, and that is why we decided that as a ministry it takes too much money. Currently there's too much money being allocated. The Namibian nation cannot afford the ministry currently. Therefore, it must be brought down to a department. And as we see the constant proposals and the constant engagement of the ministry, and that is when we'll decide in the next 5 years whether it is liable to make it a ministry again. But currently it is ineffective. It is not one that is even providing the necessary tools and skills to even help the workforce. They do not invent various things like technology such as we are going into this euro where the currency is becoming digitalized. There have not been any conferences, invention on how banks can move into that new IT technology, in that new innovation, and therefore we disregard and say that this ministry is ineffective and therefore should be placed as a department. And because of beyond COVID-19, we looked into various things that could be brought down to departments, looking into the current situation of the economy, looking into the current debt of the economy. We cannot be spending so much money on things that we do not need currently. That's why we highlighted agriculture, because we need to start making our food. Currently, we're even seeing that there's no food in the shops. there's no clothes in the shops because of the borders of South Africa that have been closed. These are the things we should be looking into, and ITC is not currently an effective stakeholder in regards to ensuring that our economy is not hindered as much because of COVID-19.
One last question from me. What's your take on the president's decision to stop buying a new fleet for government officials and also to put a cap on a monthly fuel consumption?
Well, we are pleased with that decision because we have been on the forefront of reducing the executive and reducing certain positions and benefits. In fact, we even gave proposals to reduce the salaries of some of the executives and MPs. We gave those proposals, and currently we are happy that the president is taking those drastic steps to ensure that the excessive wasting of the resources, state resources, has been limited because of that. And we are happy, and we salute the comrade president for that. Any more questions? Hi, Leston. Well, then I guess we're done. Thank you very much for coming.